I'm Ellis Martin, and this is the Ellis Martin Report and Money Talk Radio. Every single one of us listening to this program today has either been afflicted or has been close to someone afflicted or has lost someone to cancer, and perhaps not even once, but several times in your life. Cancer is about as common as the common cold. It's devastating not just to the cancer patients, but to the loved ones and families closely associated with them. Going back about 80 years or so, the main remedies for cancer remediation have been either chemotherapy, radiation, and/or a combination of both, and not without devastating and debilitating side effects. We have found a potential solution with a company called GT Biopharma, trading on the NASDAQ as GTBP. That's GTBP. Using their proprietary platform technology, GT Biopharma is generating novel immuno-oncology biopharmaceutical drugs targeting cancers such as acute lymphocytic leukemia, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, acute myeloid leukemia, and multiple solid tumors in a variety of cancers. We're going to learn all about it today as we visit with GT Biopharma's CEO, Michael Breen. Mr. Breen is an English qualified attorney and was formerly the managing director of the sports and entertainment division of Bank Insinger de Beaufort N.V., which is a wealth management organization, and was part of the BNP Paribas Group, one of the world's largest banks. He's a former senior equity partner in the 400-plus partner and 50-plus office law firm of Clyde & Company, whose head office is based in London, England. And he joins us right now today. Michael, welcome back to the program. It's great to visit with you today.
Thank you, Ellis. I'm really delighted to be here, and it's always great to see you. So thank you for having me on.
I want to congratulate you and GT Biopharma on the recent FDA clearance of the IND for GTB 5550. Can you explain what this milestone means for the company and where it fits into your broader clinical development strategy?
Yeah, of course, delighted to. Just for the folks who maybe haven't been keeping up to speed with us that much recently, we have what we call a TriKE technology, which is platform, which means that we can swap out the target and in the same molecule, apart from the target, will attack different types of cancer. We're currently exactly halfway through a first-in-human phase 1 trial for blood cancer. That's AML, acute myeloid leukemia. That's going very well. The safety's excellent on that. And we're using what I've described as the platform technology to now pivot to solid tumors. So we've got FDA approval for a solid tumor first-in-human trial, which should start, all being well, around the halfway point of 2026. And that trial is going to be a basket trial. So that means we're going to attack a whole myriad of different proliferate cancers. So we're attacking breast cancer, which affects 1 in 7 women, prostate cancer, which affects 1 in 8 men, and then some of the really hard to crack solid tumor cancers like pancreatic cancer, bladder cancer, lung cancer, head and neck cancer, and ovarian cancer.
So pretty much everything?
Pretty much everything, yeah. But it's interesting because when I referred to the target a moment ago, so the target that we're going after is something called B7H3. It's estimated that approximately 90% of solid tumors highly express this thing called B7H3. And we know from a whole bunch of other similar companies like ours who are involved in oncology research that they are also targeting B7H3 in their trials. So we pretty much know that we have found the right direction and right target to go after, and we've just kind of infused it, if you like, into our TriKE molecule. The TriKE molecule, just to remind you, it's got 3 functional parts. 2 of those parts remain the same. So one is called CD33, which is the receptor, and the other is called interleukin 15, which we call the secret sauce, which is what gives the payload to activate the body's own natural killer cells. So when someone gets cancer, something has gone fundamentally wrong in the immune system, because in a normal, healthy human being, their immune system detects, activates, and kills the cancer. And Unfortunately, in some folks, their immune system suddenly no longer is doing the things it ought to do. What our molecule does, in very simplistic terms, is it supercharges the body's own natural killer cells so that it helps to activate them. But more importantly, it also helps with regard to proliferation of the NK cells and then giving them persistence. And it's these two latter points that really does make the difference with regard to killing cancer, because it allows the body's natural killer cells to then proliferate in such numbers that it can overwhelm and kill the cancer. And also it gives it persistence that it keeps killing, because obviously with a cancer cell, it mutates, and then the two mutated cells mutate again, and it's four, and it just keeps proliferating. And the whole point is that the natural killer cells have to activate, proliferate, and persist.
All right, this is a platform technology clearly covering oncology, covering solid tumors, a myriad of cancers, but with regard to individuals, not everybody's immune system is the same, and certainly there are many patients who have an immune system that is perhaps dead. Can you reactivate everybody's immune system, and what determines whether a patient is a candidate or not for one of your clinical trials?
So without wishing to sound smug or glib, I'm going to say to you, genuinely, our molecule can reactivate anyone's immune system. It's not like we have to say, oh, that guy's immune system won't suit our drug. That's not how it works, honestly. And by the way, just to kind of further endorse that point, we also have a molecule or a drug for autoimmune disease. So when someone has, let's say, lupus or arthritis, various different things, the problems that they have where their immune system is deficient, it is perfectly logical, given everything that I've said up until now, that we also have a drug for autoimmune disease. Again, we just changed the target. So for blood cancer, the target is CD33, which is well known, the go-to acknowledged target for blood cancer. For solid tumors, it's B7H3. And then for autoimmune disease, it's something called CD19. And in the same way that the industry is pretty much honed in on B7H3 being the go-to target for solid tumors, equally, the industry is pretty much honed in on CD19 as being one of the best targets for autoimmune disease. We're hoping to file another IND later in 2026 or sometime in 2027 for an investigational new drug application for that. But to go back to your question, Ellis, people's immune systems, for example, it's typical, and I can say this as a slightly older person, that as we all get older, your immune system does not function in the way that it does when we were 16, 17, 18, 19, or in our early 20s. That's an unfortunate fact of life. People do different things with their bodies, maybe don't have a healthy diet, or they drink too much, take other substances. They do things which affects their biologics and affects their immune system. We have developed a drug which we believe significantly helps to basically reset the immune system. In particular, it's the natural killer cells in the body that our drug engages with. And then, as I say, this phrase I use, it turbocharges it by giving it proliferation. Suddenly your body produces a very, very significant greater number of NK or natural killer cells.
Michael, you mentioned something just a few minutes ago which struck me, because I know 3 women at least at the present who are afflicted with lupus, and it is debilitating, and they're in pain, and they are miserable, and the side effects from the drug treatments are awful. Are you saying that this drug developed by GT Biopharma can alleviate that pain, the symptoms, the cancer itself?
Lupus is an autoimmune disease, but yes, I am saying exactly that to you. I'm saying specifically that our molecule, our drug, engages with the body's natural killer cells to basically activate the body's immune system. And then not only activate, but help to proliferate it. Because you can still have an immune system which say, for example, detects cancer, it's just not strong enough. It doesn't produce enough natural killer cells to kill all the cancer, to kill all the lupus cells. So what our drug does is it turbocharges the body's natural killer cells to help eradicate whether it's cancer or lupus or whatever different autoimmune disease that there is. From what I'm trying to explain to your viewers and listeners, it makes perfect sense when you think about it, that if it works for blood cancer and if it's going to work for solid tumors, it's the same thing that we're doing. We're supercharging the body's natural immune system. And so the production of natural killer cells, or NK cells, as they're known in the industry. So if it works for one, it really ought to work for all of them.
Does one have to repeat the ingestion of GTB 5550 for the rest of their life? Is it a one-off treatment, a two-off treatment? How does that work?
That's a really great question, Ellis. And not many people have asked me that once. And for 5550, we obviously haven't commenced the phase 1 trial as yet. We're soon to do that. But the way we think the drug will work, and by the way, while we're on this point, just to explain to your audience, in blood cancer, we give the drug by way of continuous IV infusion. But with regard to the solid tumors, that's going to be administered by subcutaneous injection. So it'll just be an injection into if you have any fat around your stomach, into that area. So the trial will start, it'll probably be 5 injections a week, and then it'll go down to 3. But for the purposes of the trial, conceptually, the idea is that you will take the drug until we've killed all of the cancer. So it will be for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. Once you're cancer free, you've activated and you proliferated your body's natural killer cells. It's not a drug that you be on for life. That's not how it works. You take it for the period of time sufficient to do the job that it needs to do, whether it's killing the lupus, killing the blood cancer, killing a solid tumor. That's all it's required. Then you're done.
Who are your typical candidates for these trials? Are they stage 4 individuals?
Currently, you're right. Because it's a first-in-human trial, quite rightly, the FDA are very prescriptive, and they say, until you've demonstrated safety, we have to give it to someone who's a stage 4 terminally ill or life-limited, as we prefer to call it, patient. But that said, what I would say to you is, going back to the point that the drug it's a 3-part functional drug. The only part that changes is the target, depending on which cancer or autoimmune disease we're going after. We've already clearly demonstrated that the drug is safe in blood cancer patients that we've given it to. And therefore, we are extremely optimistic that when we commence this trial, we will have the same safety results as we've had in the blood cancer first-in-human trial, because all we've changed is the target. The functional parts of the molecule remain the same.
What does this mean for the market in dollars and cents? Why would I invest in the company?
So the first thing I'd say, anyone considering an investment, whether it's investing in a company that makes widgets, I'm just using an extreme example, or a company that's involved in oncology research, I would always say they should think about their fellow man and think, I should invest my dollars in something like oncology research. I should certainly invest a percentage of my investment portfolio in something that is for the benefit of mankind. The second thing I'm going to say to you is the size of the solid tumor market is, in a recent survey, has estimated to be of value $362 billion per annum. Let me say that again. $362 billion per annum. The reason that market is so vast is, understandably, so many people get cancer, but the most typical types of cancer they get are solid tumor cancers. So like I said earlier, breast cancer affects 1 in 7 women. Prostate cancer affects 1 in 8 men. It's not surprising at all that the market is vast. So then I'm going to say to you, we're conducting a basket trial to hit all 7 of the really difficult cancers to crack. We're of the view that if our drug works in 1 solid tumor, it's going to work in all 7. That's just our view. But let me put it this way in terms of an investment decision and something to consider. If our drug demonstrates efficacy in just 1 of those solid tumors, those targets, whether it's prostate cancer, breast cancer, bladder cancer, pancreatic cancer, ovarian cancer, whatever it is, that will be transformative in relation to our company and in relation to its value and in relation to the perception that big pharma will have in terms of the technology that we have. And also, the thing that I can't emphasize enough is the fact that our technology is a platform technology. The two parts of the molecule remain the same, the payload and the receptor. The only thing that changes is the target, the targeting mechanism. Think of it as you've got a missile and you've got a laser homing device on it, and you just have to tweak that to go after a different site, a different target. That's effectively what we have. And if you look at what's happened where big pharma have acquired companies with a platform technology, they've paid vast sums of money for them. So Gilead, when they acquired Kite Pharma, I think that the acquisition price was something like $8 billion. You're talking huge, vast sums of money because the market is vast. So all we need to do is demonstrate a signal in one, just one, but we think if it works in one, it'll work in all 7 of these targets, of these solid tumors.
Well, Michael, this has been extremely informative and very passionate. You've certainly given a great reason for people to take a look at GT Biopharma as a possible potential investment addition to their portfolio. If nothing else, you're saving lives.
That's why we're here, Ellis. That's why we're here.
Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure. Delighted.
I've been speaking with Michael Breen, CEO and Managing Director of GT Biopharma, trading on the NASDAQ exchange as GTBP. That's GTBP. We ask you only to consider GT Biopharma as an addition to your investment portfolio after doing your own research. Start at the company's website, gtbiopharma.com. That's gtbiopharma.com. For Money Talk Radio and the Ellis Martin Report, I'm Ellis Martin. GT Biopharma is a paid sponsor of the Ellis Martin Report and Money Talk Radio. Invest at your own risk.